We are going to do the file to file scenario in PI. For this, I have created uh, a basic scenario where I'm picking up the files from one of the folders on the PI server and placing it into the another folder in the PI server. Okay, so the objects which I have created uh, till now is the folder where I'm going to create the integration objects. So the name of the folder is integration, and I have saved it and I'm going to activate it. So I've activated it. Now this is the integration builder. So basically I'm creating a pass-through scenario. I'll not be creating any of the ESR objects here. So there will be no XML validation, and it's just a basic scenario. So we'll pick a file and just place it in the second target folder. So here I'm going to create communication channel, two communication channels. Firstly, so first I'll create the business component, that is, let's say PC file sender business component create save. So this is the sender component, and so the service interface name here is mandatory. If you can see, there is star mark, so I have to give the sender interface name file sender interface NFS and out. I'll give a namespace on PI integration common, and I'm going to save these names here. So if you can see, apart from these two fields, nothing is mandatory here. So I'm ready to save this object and then activate it. So I activated the business component for the sender side. I'll do the same for the receiver side now. So BC file receiver business component. So the best practice is that you name the service interfaces in such a way that both the sender interface, the outbound interface, and inbound interface has the same name, apart from having this suffix that is in and out to identify which one is the outbound interface and which one is the inbound interface. And I'll give the namespace as that of the outbound interface here as well, and I'll save it, activate. So I have now activated, I have created two of the business components. I'll go on and create the communication channel. So for communication channel, why I created the business component was that for creating a business, for creating the communication channel, this business component is required. So I'll drag and drop. So first I'm creating the sender channel, PC file sender communication channel, cc file sender nfs sf, this is ftp send. Again, so I have made a convention so that whenever I go through the channel names, I'll be able to know that what kind of adapter is being used and what is the direction of this channel. So this here I'll be using FTP adapter, and I'll be using the this channel as a center channel. So I have named this channel like this. These two suffixes will give me the clarification of how I'm going to use this channel on which side and with what adapters. So as you can see, description is not mandatory here. I'll not give one. So I'm creating it. Let's ignore this error. And so here you are going to, if you can see, there's adapter type which you have to select, and I'll select it. I'll go with file adapter. So in the transport protocol, you can see that this NFS is there in the bracket, which means that I'm not going outside of this PA system and fetching the file from any other, SFT or FTP server. Instead, I'm looking into the same, same server where PI is located. So internally, I'm going for a file, picking it up, and sending it over to the second folder. So what's the difference between these two protocols? If I change the transport protocol to FTP, what happens that I'll need to give the SFTP, FTP server details. So FTP means file transfer protocol, and when I say SFTP, it's a secured version of FTP. Okay, so and the port number is by default 22, which you can change, but generally it is always 21. And for SFTP, it is 22. So here you give the server fingerprint, and here you give the server name, and here you give the timeout. So this is basically what you are doing, is making a connection. Once you put the details of the third-party server, you'll be able to make a connection using these parameters. So per file transfer, binary. So these are the minor uh, configurations which you need to do. You can read more about this in the SAP help documents. Okay, so but we are not using this, we are using NFS. Okay, so this is the source directory which I have to give. Now for the source directory, I'll go here and see one of the center channels which is already configured. So okay, so this is the source directory, and I go here, put it, and the file name. So this is the file name. So what does this mean? That I have to, this FTP adapter will look into this folder and pick this file. Now there are a few configurations here as well. So this is the advanced selection, where say you have to choose, you have to look into multiple directories. So you can add those directory names, using this configuration. Additional files, and same goes for the file. If you have to choose file with different naming conventions, you can add the rules here, and the adapter will go and fetch those files. So when I write this particular file, it means that this particular file will only get picked from this folder and nothing else. So there are wildcard entries. To make this rule more generic, we can use certain wildcards which will help us in picking up multiple file with the same name pattern. Okay, now Yeah. So quality of service means that you can have um, this communication in three different types. First is exactly once. These two are exactly once and exactly once in order are of asynchronous type, and the best effort is synchronous one. So here we are going to use exactly once and poll interval 60 seconds, which we can increase to 300 seconds. Okay, so poll interval in milliseconds. Okay, not mandatory. Retry interval. With this retry interval, you can give a limit of for retry interval in the case if there is a failure, and FTP adapter has to poll this message again. So let's say we have 10 minutes of polling time. You can keep the retry interval of 1 minute. Okay. Okay, these are for the command lines. We are not going into detail.